bless all participants in these proceedings. May this process uphold the Constitution, serve the best interests of the Filipino people, and reflect your will for our nation. We pray for all our leaders, that truth prevail and justice be done. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay.
Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting.
Sa manlulupi, di ka pasisingil.
Sa dagat ang tutok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bugaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal.
Ang islap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning.
Ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may di magdidilim.
Tumanang araw na walang ipagsira. Buhay ay langit sa pino. Sabihin mo ang ligaya na may matami.
Mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Today is May 4, 2026. The hearing of the Committee on Justice is hereby called to order. May we solicit the motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. Just for the record, today's hearing is a continuation of our hearing last April 29, 2026. The Honorable Sendanya is recognized.
Madam Chair, I move to dispense with the calling of the roll.
There is a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. May I solicit the motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the hearing held on April 29, 2026 and for the approval of the same.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable D.S.J.J. Suarez.
I move that we dispense and at the same time approve the minutes of the previous hearing. So moved, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to dispense with the hearing of the minutes of the hearing held April 29, 2026, and for the approval of the same. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The Chair will address the committee. Good morning. Good morning. Malayo pa, pero malayo na. That is where we stand today. Yan po ang sitwasyon natin ngayon. We recognize that this has been a difficult and demanding process. But we also recognize how much we have already uncovered. Marami na tayong naabot sa mga nakaraang linggo. Today, we share a quiet sense of accomplishment as we recognize and honor the distance we have traveled since we first began. Saksi tayong lahat. Marami tayong pinagdaanan. Our very first hearing was on March 2, where we established sufficiency in form. Sumunod ang March 4 for sufficiency in substance. At sa puntong yon, we asked the Vice President to file her answer. And she did. At ang nakapirma, 16 na abogado, 16 lawyers. Pero ang answer na isinumite, halos 10 pages lamang at nakatutok lang sa mga technicalities, sa mga paligoy-ligoy, bagay na ikinagulat ng marami dahil sa totoo lang, hindi naman yon ang hinahanap natin. It was an answer that really just avoided the questions. Kaya naman, noong March 18, we determined that the complaints allege sufficient grounds for impeachment. Sumunod ang hearing sa March 25, kung saan we settled the preliminary matters, most especially ang pag-issue ng mga subpoena. Then came the marathon hearings of April 14, April 22, and April 29. Doon tayo nakinig sa mga resource person natin. We heard the evidence. We examined the evidence. At sa mga araw na iyan, doon natin naramdaman ang bigat ng ating ginagawa. May mga sandaling luminaw ang mga sagot at may mga sandaling mas dumami ang mga tanong. We certainly had our ups and downs. We had our inflows and outflows of testimonies and documents. But through it all, one thing remained certain. We never went sideways. Hindi tayo naligaw. Nanatili tayong may direksyon. We move, sometimes slow, sometimes painfully, but always forward towards the truth. Sinunod natin ang konstitusyon. Hindi tayo nagmadali, hindi tayo nag-shortcut. We honored the process. Bawat hakbang, bawat salita, bawat ebidensya, hinarap natin ng buong pag-iingat at pananagutan. Sa paglalakbay na ito, napagod tayo. Sinubok ang ating pasensya, lalo na sa harap ng mga batikos mula sa labas. We saw the press conferences of the Vice President's camp. We saw the petitions filed in the Supreme Court and the complaint filed in the office of the city prosecutor. Opo, maraming hakbang ang ginawa upang pigilan ang prosesong ito. Pero sa kabila ng lahat, hindi tayo natinag. For in the end, it is not the absence of struggle that defined us, but the refusal to lose our way, the discipline to stay the course, and the clarity to never lose sight of where we are going. At noong mga nakaraang pagdinig, we have seen the evidence. Ito ang mga nakita at narinig natin. Una, ang testimonya ni Ramil Madriaga na base sa ebidensya, mas kilala sa pangalang Sir Ram. Pangalawa, ang mga misteryosong envelopes at ang mga questionableng resibo. Pangatlo, ang paliwanag ng NBI tungkol sa magkakaibang pangalan, ngunit iisa ang pirma. Pang-apat, ang sertipikasyon ng PSA na walang record ang mga pangalang katulad ng Mary Grace Piatos. Pang-lima, ang COA findings na nag-uutos ng refund na 73 million at 375 million. Pang-anim, ang ulat ng AMLC patungkol sa 6.7 billion na mga transaksyon, napakalaking halaga na dumaloy sa mga account ng Vice Presidente at ng kanyang asawa. Pang-pito, ang mga natuklasan ni former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV na ang malaking bahagi ng kayamanang ito ay may kaugnayan sa illegal drugs. At ang mas nakakagulat, ang pahayag na ito ay tumutugma sa record ng AMLC. Pangwalo, ang mga dokumento mula sa SEC na nagpapatunay na walang kinikita ang mga kumpanya ng Vice Presidente kahit na natili siyang aktibo sa isa sa mga kumpanyang ito, nang ibig sabihin ay pinagsabay niya ang pagiging Vice Presidente at pagpapatakbo ng negosyo. At nitong huling pagdinig lamang, noong April 29, dalawang bagay naman ang napag-usapan natin. Una, ang selyadong kahon mula sa BIR na sa kabila ng matinding debate, hindi muna natin binuksan. Kahit nasa kapangyarihan naman natin na buksan ito. Sabi nga ni Deputy Speaker Janet Guerin, ang puso natin ay gustong buksan ito. Pero ang isip natin, nagsasabing huwag muna. At dagdag pa rito, nagpahayag si Congressman Benny Abante, hindi porket kaya nating gawin ang isang bagay, ay dapat na nating gawin. At ang pangalawa, ang mga ebidensya ng pagmumura at ang pag-contract ng assassin. Grabe po itong mga ebidensyang ito, lalo na yung video ng Vice Presidente. Kong Laila de Lima described it perfectly when she said, noong gabing iyon, nakita natin ang totoong Sara Duterte. Nanlilisik ang mata, halos bumula ang bibig, at lumabas ang dugo sa tenga dahil tila ba sasabog na ang kanyang ulo sa galit. At that point, Congresswoman Janice Digamo once again shared her own painful experience. As a victim of political violence herself, pinaalala niya sa atin na ang banta ng pagpatay ay hindi biro. Ito ay seryosong panganib sa buhay ng tao. Yan po ang lahat ng natalakay natin at pinag-aralan natin lahat ito. Sinuri ang bawat anggulo, katulad ng paalala ni Congressman Brian Poe noong nakaraang pagdinig, seryoso ang tungkulin nating ito at dapat tratuhin ito na may kaukulang respeto. At sa gitna ng lahat ng ebidensyang ito, sa kabila ng lahat ng diskusyon natin, may isang bagay na hindi nagbago. Ang upuan, ang bakanteng upuan. Sa bawat ebidensya, walang direktang sagot. Sa bawat tanong, walang paliwanag. Naghintay tayo ng salaysay mula sa Vice Presidente sa ilalim ng panunumpa. Pero ang tanging humarap sa atin ay ang tahimik, ang isang bakanteng upuan. Ngunit mapagtatanto natin na meron na pala tayong hawak na ebidensya mula mismo sa Kanya. Hindi na natin kailangang tumingin pa sa malayo. We already have a sworn statement. Isang sinumpaang salaysay. Ang tagal na palang nandito. Ang kanyang salin. isang dokumento, siya mismo ang pumirma. Siya ang nanumpa. At siya ang nagsumite. At malinaw ang nakasaad doon. Walang cash o cash deposit. Ngayon, itabi natin ang SALN na iyon sa lahat ng ebidensyang ating naipon. Doon lumabas ang tanong na hindi na natin matatakasan. Kapag ang sinumpaang dokumento ay nagsabing zero cash, pero ang official report ay nagpapakita ng bilyon-bilyong transaksyon, saan tayo maniniwala? Kaya naman, noong April 29, the Committee on Justice decided that we have seen enough. No need to extend. No need to give one more chance to someone who refuses to attend. Sabi nga ni Congressman Percy Sendanya, hindi na kailangan ng makeup class ang laging nagkakating class. By a unanimous vote, this committee found probable cause to impeach Vice President Sara Z. Duterte for culpable violation of the Constitution, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, and betrayal of public trust. That brings us to today. Ngayon, May 4. Kukumpirmahin natin kung anuman ang mga nangyari noong nakaraan sa pamamagitan ng isang committee report. We are therefore here to finalize the committee report along with the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment. Our task is to approve these documents and transmit everything to the plenary. This is our mandate under the rules. Tayo ang Committee on Justice. Bukod tangi ang committee ito dahil sa buong listahan ng mga komite sa Kongreso, tayo lamang ang tanging binanggit at binigyan ng partikular na mandato ng ating konstitusyon. We were given that name for a reason. Today, we hope we have lived up to that name, Committee on Justice. Para sa hustisya, sana naibigay natin ang hustisya sa mga complainant. Hustisya sa Vice Presidente sa pamamagitan ng tamang proseso. At higit sa lahat, hustisya sa sambayanang Pilipino. Sana ay panindigan natin ang pangalan ng committee natin. But more than that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the people behind this work. Hindi biro ang pinagdaanan nating lahat, lalo na ang kapal ng mga dokumentong binasa at sinuri natin. Sa mga resource persons, salamat sa pagharap ninyo dito sa komite. To our colleagues in this committee, thank you so much. Sa ating secretariat at sa mga staff na hindi nakikita sa camera, pero sila ang naging pundasyon ng bawat hearing. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. And to the Filipino people, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. Ngayon, habang tinitimbang natin ang bigat ng mga susunod nating hakbang at ang mga posibleng pagsubok na haharapin natin, may isang katotohanang dapat nating alalahanin. Hindi tayo magsisimula sa wala. Ang bawat hakbang natin ay hindi na pabalik, kundi padiretso sa katotohanan. Malayo pa, pero malayo na. Mahaba pa po ang tatahakin nating landas patungong plenaryo at patungong Senado. Ngunit hindi na tayo nangangapa. Marami na tayong naungkat. Marami na tayong naisiwalat. At hindi natin hahayaang masayang ang lahat ng ito. Kailangang ituloy ang proseso because this is what justice demands. Because only then can we truly achieve accountability. Kapag may public official na nagkaroon ng seryosong paratang, huwag nating baliwalain, huwag nating palampasin. Kapag may kailangang ipaliwanag, huwag tayong titigil hanggat lumabas ang katotohanan. Let us pursue this to its logical conclusion. Otherwise, the cycle of impunity will only repeat. Because we owe it to the next generation of Filipinos to show them that no one, no matter how powerful, no matter the title, is above the law. Huwag nating hayaang masanay ang ating bansa sa kultura ng pagkalimot. Because if we let up now, we fail the very Constitution we swore to protect. Let us therefore move forward with heavy hearts but clear minds. If the Vice President is guilty, let the truth convict her. If she is innocent, let the process clear her. But let it be done through the light of justice, not the shadows of silence. Ituloy na natin ang huling hakbang ng yugtong ito para sa katotohanan, para sa sambayanang Pilipino. Esteemed colleagues, beloved countrymen, malayo pa, pero kahit papaano, sa totoo lang, malayo na. Maraming salamat po. At this juncture, may we direct the committee secretary to manifest to the committee whether the committee report, the attached resolution, as well as the articles of impeachment have been sent to the members of the Justice Committee, the respondent Vice President, as well as the complainant. Comsec?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We confirm that the committee has forwarded the articles of the committee report, the House resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment to all members, regular and ex officio, of the Committee on Justice. However, we have not furnished the complainants and counsel, respondent and counsel of copies of the same, and we intend to do that after the same has been approved and by the committee, and the number of the resolution has already been inputted in the copy of the same. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Chel Jokno is recognized.
before we proceed to the consideration of the report and draft resolution, may I be allowed to make a brief manifestation? This is all in conjunction with the Chair's opening statement.
You may proceed, Honorable Jokno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sa panahon ngayon na maraming tayong kinakaharap na problema, sobrang pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin, itong mababang pasahod at yung krisis sa Middle East, marami pa rin nagtatanong o meron pa rin nagtatanong kung bakit ba itong impeachment na ito? Ito ba'y aksaya lang ng oras ng mga lingkod bayan? Of course, alam natin na ang kaduluhan ng impeachment ay pananagutan. Pero kailangan siguro natin bigyang diin na ito ay isang hindi ordinaryong proseso. Ang impeachment ay likha mismo ng ating konstitusyon para magkaroon tayo ng isang mabisa at mabilis na mekanismo, hindi lang sa pananagutan, kundi para malaman kung tampat o hindi ang isang lingkod bayan na napakataas ang kanyang power at responsibility. Kasi po, pag hindi tampat ang lingkod bayan, ang resulta ay korupsyon. Ang bawat pisong nawawala sa korupsyon na napupunta sa bulsa ng isang opisyal ay pisong ninanakaw sa pinahirapang pera ng ating mga taxpayers. Ang pondo natin ay hindi dapat ginagamit para sa bulsa lang o sariling interes, kundi para sa ikabubuti ng lahat. Deserve ng ating mamamayan ang mga leader na magpapatibay sa ating mga institusyon, hindi lang yung mga magpapabagsak nito o magkapapakorap ng pera ng bayan. And that is why, Madam Chair, impeachment is so important for our nation even in this time of crisis. Hindi po madali ang mga nakaraang buwan para sa mga miyembro at chair ng committee. To determine probable cause, we had to look into every piece of evidence and make sure that we did not miss anything. Kaya dahil dito, I think we should commend our chair, all the members of the Committee on Justice, and all the secretariat as well, beginning with the committee secretary, dahil wala tayong ginawang shortcut, hindi tayo sumuko sa mga banta. We did the work that the Constitution required of us. Kaya po, sa pag-usad ng impeachment case, huwag sana natin kakalimutan. We are doing this para ito sa mga pamilyang nagtitiis sa presyo ng bilihin habang nilulustay ang pera ng bayan. Sa mga manggagawa, mga magsasaka, at mangingisda na talagang nagkakanda, kuba na sa kahirapan pang-araw-araw sa kabila nitong nakikita nating korupsyon. At lalong-lalo na para sa mga kabataan natin na nangangarap ng isang magandang kinabukasan at naghahanap ng hustisya at pananagutan. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
All the manifestations of the Honorable Jokno are noted by the committee. Now we are formally opening the floor for our agenda for today's hearing. That is the approval of the committee report with the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable DSJ Suarez is recognized.
Madam Chair, insofar as every member of the committee has been given a copy of the committee report, I move for the approval of the committee report and the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment against the Vice President, Sara Zimmerman Duterte. So moved, Madam Chair.
Madam
Second,
Chair.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Before we take up the motion, let us acknowledge first the Honorable Laila de Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like the rest of the members of the committee, this representation received the final drafts of the 3 documents. The committee report, the resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment, and lastly, the articles of impeachment itself, which is supposedly to be attached to the resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment. Since yesterday, I submitted to the committee secretariat piecemeal certain proposed revisions or corrections on these 3 documents. And this morning, I again submitted to the committee secretariat and even to the office of the Honorable Chair the final set of my proposed revisions or corrections, consisting mainly of clerical or typographical errors, and even some substantive errors, but mostly clerical or typographical errors for the consideration of the committee before the final approval of the same. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would have wanted to make a manifestation individually of those proposed revisions, but it might take time. So I'm just making that general manifestation of my submission of those proposed corrections or revisions. Thank you.
In response to the Honorable dilemma, may we place it on record that all the requests for clerical and typographic corrections to the committee report have been adopted already by the Secretariat, only that we do not have the luxury of time to reproduce to such number of copies to provide all members present today with a revised copy of the committee report. But let it be placed on record that all the requests for corrections of clerical and typographical error have been adopted by the Secretariat.
Madam
The Honorable
Chair,
Jokno is recognized.
Madam Chair.
I have a few substantive matters I'd like to move for amendment to insofar as both the report and the attached articles are concerned. First, Madam Chair, on page 7 of the draft House resolution, it states at the bottom of page 7, and I quote, "Respondent Vice President Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust by committing plunder and or malversation, graft and corruption, and other high crimes," and I emphasize this part, "in amassing and converting the amount of not less than 100," I'm referring to page 6, I stand corrected, which states that the Vice President committed corruption, etc., in amassing and converting the amount of not less than 500 million pesos from the confidential funds allocated to the Office of the Vice President for the years 2022 and 2023. Madam Chair, my concern here, and I'm making this motion to make this consistent with the attached articles, is that if you look at the record of the Commission on Audit, the first 125 million pesos given to the Vice President in 2022, only 73 million pesos of the 125 million was disallowed. And that was also the subject of the appeal made to the Commission on Audit and Bank. If we say not less than, we may be able to prove that there was amassing and converting of around 435 million, if my addition is correct, but it may not reach the amount of 500 million. So to avoid any technicalities later, that there may be objections that we did not prove not less than 500 million, I move that we simply adopt what the language found in the attached articles of impeachment, which state, and I quote, "systematic misuse, misappropriation, and irregular liquidation of confidential funds amounting to 500 million, etc." That way we cannot, we will avoid any kind of technical objections to the draft resolution. I so move, Madam Chair.
Second.
There is a motion to adopt the change of language in the articles of impeachment as cited by the Honorable Jokno. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, point of order. There was a pending motion, and then now there's another motion. Should we first withdraw the first motion, and then proceed with the other?
Madam Chair, insofar as I was the one that moved for the first motion, I therefore, we consider first the proposed amendment before we act on my earlier motion.
For the record, the earlier motion for the approval of the committee report with the attached resolution setting for the articles of impeachment has been withdrawn. Now let us take up the motion of the Honorable Jokno. There is a motion for the change of language in the articles of impeachment.
Point of information, Madam Chair.
in the committee report so as to make it consistent to the documents of the Commission on Audit?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. So as to make it consistent with the attached articles of impeachment.
With the attached articles of impeachment. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is granted. The Honorable Ko is recognized.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, just one more, if I may. This has to do with the page 4, bottom to page 5 of the attached articles
If
of
I
impeachment.
may interrupt Honorable Jokno, you can manifest or raise the motion to include all subject matter of your correction so that we will approve it in one motion only.
If I may, Madam Chair, this pertains to another matter contained in the articles itself that are attached to the House resolution that we are to approve
Okay,
this morning.
please proceed, Honorable Jokno.
Very briefly only, paragraph at the bottom of paragraph 5 of the articles of impeachment, it states, the foregoing scheme is amply established by documentary records, etc., including the following. And at the top of page 5, it states, letter A, records of hearings before the House of Representatives Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability bear multiple sworn testimonies attesting to irregularities in the handling of confidential funds. Witnesses testified, among others, that special disbursing officers merely release funds upon instruction without knowledge of their ultimate use, that officials were made to sign liquidation reports without being shown supporting documents, and that the alleged beneficiaries of certain expenditures categorically denied receiving any funds. If I may, Madam Chair, if we go back to the records of the testimonies taken before the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, it was admitted by no less than the Special Disbursing Officer of the OVP, Ms. Gina F. Acosta, that on December 20, 2022, she turned over 125 million pesos in cash in confidential funds in 4 duffel bags to Colonel La Chica, who is not in the regular or proper chain of disbursement. I would move, Madam Chair, that we simply add the term to persons outside the proper disbursement channels. At the end of after the comma, I quote, witnesses testified, among others, that special disbursing officers merely release funds upon instruction to persons outside the proper disbursement channels without knowledge of their ultimate use. So just that phrase, Madam Chair. I so move.
Second.
The hearing is temporarily suspended. We recognize the Honorable Chel Jokno.
Madam Chair, yes, I believe the Honorable Rene Ho has a
I
motion
understand
with-
that you have raised the motion already, so I think if the purpose of yielding the
Madam
time to the Honorable Tino is to change that motion, perhaps we need to withdraw first the earlier motion, Honorable Jokno.
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
may I just put the situation in its proper context? The paragraph found in page 6 of the House resolution states, and I quote, "Respondent Vice President Duterte committed the foregoing impeachable offenses." That part seems to it states that there was a finding that the committee made that offenses were committed. And then, but it continues through the following acts as alleged in the Saballa et al. Complaint. When the session was suspended, it was pointed out to me that the text appearing below this paragraph simply reproduced what was alleged in the Saballa complaint. So it now appears, Madam Chair, that the real problem lies in the sentence contained in the beginning of that paragraph. And I would suggest, and I would, number one, withdraw my previous motion and suggest that, and move that the following amendment be made. Instead of saying Respondent Vice President Duterte committed the foregoing impeachable offenses through the following acts as alleged in the Saballa complaint, to make it clear, I move that we substitute that with the following: that the Saballa et al. Complaint alleged that Respondent Vice President Duterte committed the foregoing impeachable offenses. That way, we do not have any more to change what is found in the succeeding paragraph below. Yung pong kanina pinag-usapan natin, amass and convert, we can retain that and just simply amend the first paragraph that I just mentioned. Thank you, Madam
May
Chair.
I request the Honorable Jokno to kindly withdraw first the earlier motion?
I respectfully withdraw the earlier motion to amend that portion stating amassing and converting. And I now move, Madam Chair, that we amend the earlier paragraph. I will read it as written in the resolution. Respondent Vice President Duterte committed the foregoing impeachable offenses through the following acts as alleged in the Saballa et al. Complaint. I move that that sentence be amended as follows. The Saballa et al. Complaint alleged that Respondent Vice President Duterte committed the foregoing impeachable offenses through the following acts, colon.
Second
Madam
motion.
Second.
Parliamentary inquiry. Parliamentary status. There is a withdrawal of the earlier motion. That is the replacement of the word amass. The same has been withdrawn. Now we have a motion to replace the heading with the Saballa et al. Complaint alleged that the Vice President committed the following impeachable offenses. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Any other concern from the members? The Honorable
Madam
Laila de
Chair.
Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier, what I manifested and pointed out are certain clerical or typographical errors and even some minor revisions as to matter of style. And it was also announced by the Honorable Chair that all of those proposed revisions or amendments that I submitted to the Committee Secretariat and the Office of the Chair this morning were already adopted. I detected also a substantive matter, Madam Chair. Nabanggit po kanina ng ating Chair na base sa SEC record nananatiling shareholder si VP Sara sa isang kumpanya kahit siya vice-presidente. Based on the records submitted by the SEC, it is clear that the Vice President was listed as a stockholder of Metro City Chow Foods Corporation in 2016. Additionally, the Vice President was listed as a member of the Board of Directors from 2016 until the latest SEC filing in 2025. I submit that the continued listing of the Vice President as member of the Board of Directors of Metro City Chow Foods Corporation, even after her assumption to office as Vice President, constituted a violation of Section 13, Article 7 of the Constitution by participating in business during her tenure as Vice President. Malinaw po yan, the Section 13, Article 7. May I just quote some of the portions, the relevant portions, Section 13. The President, Vice President, the members of the Cabinet, and their deputies or assistants shall not, unless otherwise provided in this Constitution, hold any other office or employment during their tenure. They shall not, during said tenure, directly or indirectly, practice any other profession, participate in any business, etc., etc. Must not participate in any business. Accordingly, Madam Chair, I propose and move that a subheading under Article 2 of the Articles of Impeachment be inserted on page 10. Pagkatapos po ng subheading B, kasi so far in the current version of the Articles of Impeachment, meron pong dalawang subheadings under Article 2. A and B. May I propose to add a subheading C, letter C, failed to divest all her business interests based on the records of the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, during her tenure as Vice President for the years 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Also, accordingly, the following allegations must be added after the last paragraph of page 20. Dun pa rin po yan sa Articles of Impeachment. Respondent failed to divest all her business interests based on the records of the SEC during her tenure as Vice President for the years 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. And I must say, Madam Chair, that all other relevant provisions or relevant portions of the committee report, the resolution, and the articles of impeachment be made or be revised to include this point, this matter about the respondent failed to divest all her business interests based on the records of the SEC during her tenure as Vice President for the years 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. I so move.
Second, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to add to Article 2 of the Articles of Impeachment, the non-divestment of the Vice President of her business interest from 2022 to 2025, including in all parts of the said article. The same has been seconded by the Honorable Zamora. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, also the committee report and the resolution, just the relevant portions where pwede pong ipasok itong sentence na ito, itong part na po, itong matter pong ito about failure to divest.
The motion to amend pertains to both the articles of impeachment and the committee report, for as long as there are relevant portions where the non-divestment of business interest must be stated. The said motion has been seconded by the Honorable Zamora. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Madam Chair,
Hearing is suspended.
impeachment against the Vice President Sara Z. Duterte as amended. So moved, Madam Chair.
Second, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to approve the committee report with the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment against the Vice President as amended. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, just a bit of an amendment to the motion.
What's the pleasure of the Honorable De Lima?
Can we add with the attached articles of impeachment?
We
Because
are following the wordings of the rules of impeachment,
Yes,
which
the
says
attached,
setting forth the
the
articles of
articles of
impeachment.
impeachment. So no need to specify with the attached.
I don't
articles
think
of
it is
impeachment.
needed.
Thank you.
We're following verbatim what is provided in the rules of impeachment. Is there any objection? Hearing none, then it means that this is unanimously approved. But again, for purposes of accuracy of the record, may I request the justice members present to raise their hand to show support in the approval of the committee report, the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment as amended. Please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Let it be placed on the record that 55 out of 55 justice members physically present manifested their support to the approval of the committee report, to the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment as amended. The chair therefore declares the motion unanimously approved.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
The Honorable Ko.
Madam Chair, may I briefly explain my vote and express a reservation?
Like how many minutes will it take?
Maybe 2.
2 minutes. Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, over the weekend, as the articles of impeachment and the report is also being finalized, this representation sent over comments on substantive matters to specifically on the wordings of political destabilization. So while this representation is gladdened to have some of its comments taken in consideration in the final complaint, at the end of it, I'd just like to express on the floor my reservation in the use of the words political destabilization in the subheadings, treating it as a crime in the same vein as grave threats or inciting to sedition. And my last manifestation, Madam Chair, is at the end of the day, this representation cannot agree to the inclusion of the act, quote-unquote, inciting to sedition as forming the grounds of impeachment. And the bigger reason is political, which is that it is being used unfairly and unjustly to critics and activists, as the Philippine law broadly defines the crime as any speech in any form that generates hate, quote-unquote, against government or any of its officers. There have been instances in previous cases wherein inciting to sedition was used, where it is said that, quote, if it arouses among its viewers a sense of dissatisfaction against the duly constituted authorities, specifically in the case of Bicoy versus Duterte, this is already inciting to sedition. And this is why, Madam Chair, I have reservation in the use of that, and I believe it is already sufficient that the crime of grave threats to President Marcos Jr. and to public scrutiny in general, security in general, should be enough. But nonetheless, this representation voted yes to the articles of impeachment. That is all, Madam Chair.
The manifestation of the Honorable Co is noted. Pursuant to Section 9 of the House Rules of Procedure in the impeachment proceedings, the committee report, together with the resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment as amended and as approved, shall be submitted to the House and shall be calendared for the consideration by the House within 10 session days from receipt thereof. In this regard, the committee secretariat is directed to provide copy of the approved committee report with attached resolutions setting forth the articles of impeachment to the respondent Vice President, the complainant, as well as the members of the Justice Committee. So ruled. May I solicit the necessary motion?
Madam Chair,
The Honorable DS Janet Garin.
move to adjourn.
Considering that we have approved already the committee report, the articles of the attached resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment, we are now adjourning the impeachment proceeding of the Justice Committee. The hearing is adjourned.